Hello again, RoyZesch.REALTOR here with you today from Coldwell Banker Legacy in San Angelo. Today I want to talk to you about resale value when you're buying a house and how much you should think about this and just kind of ways to look at this. Now the reason this came up, I'd asked for some suggestions on some video subjects, and I have some friends that had purchased a house a couple of years ago, and then a year or so later they thought they were going to need to move and put their house in the market and had a difficult time selling it because of the neighborhood it's in. It's in an area where the lots are bigger, the houses, acreage, 2-acre lots are very common, but more importantly in that neighborhood, the houses just don't move very fast. The houses sell, and they can even sell for pretty good prices, but they're not quick movers. It's not a real high demand area. So in their situation, they feel like they had made a mistake by buying in that area, and they should have spent a little more time considering resale value and how easy a house would be to resell when they got ready when they were buying. And they're right. In their situation, they're exactly right. But you got to think about it two different ways and kind of balance them out. The first thing to understand is when you buy a house, the purpose of the house, the primary purpose of the house is for you to live in. Okay, so that has to be first. Resale value is important and will be very important, could be very important in the future, but it's in the future. The most important thing when you buy a house is realize this is where you and your family are going to be living. So that has to be primary. So you got to figure out how to balance it. And the balance is going to be different for each person. Now this couple I'm talking about in their house, he works in the oil field. Well, one of the things it's very common in the oil field, you almost expect it, is you're going to move frequently. In San Angelo, we also get a lot of military families that are here 3, 4, or 5 years and then are moving. Particularly in a situation like that, if you have a job like that, maybe you're a high school football coach, or there's other things that fit, but if you have a job where reasonably expect that you will be moving in the next 4 to 6 years, then yes, you need to be much more diligent about considering resale when you're buying a house. And the simple answer to what's going to sell the best and fastest is what's the middle of the market, okay? Our San Angelo market today, the median price is a little over $150,000. So if you are buying a house close to that median, 130 to 180, that's the very center of the market. Now there's neighborhoods and stuff that the houses go a good bit above that, but know when you come into San Angelo, if you come in and buy a $450,000 house, it's going to be much more difficult to sell than a $150,000 house. That doesn't mean you should come in and only buy a $150,000 house. Again, that's that balance between what meets the needs of your family. But consider it. The other thing to consider is how many houses are there similar to yours? If you live in a neighborhood with a lot of cookie cutter houses, people complain about cookie cutter houses, but here's where they're great. When you get ready to sell, that cookie cutter house will sell much more rapidly. It will sell easier because there's a lot of demand because there's a lot of houses very similar to yours. And that's a good thing when you're selling. It may or may not be a good thing when you're buying or when you're living there. So again, you're balancing those things. But if you're moving, you've been in San Angelo a while, you're buying a home that you plan on living in for many, many years, whether that's 10, 20, 30, 40. In that case, the resale of that house needs to be lower on the list because you're going to spend a lot of years there. It's more important for that house to fit you and your family than it is the resale of it. But doesn't mean you throw resale completely out the window, because at some point in time, the house will be resold. It may be you in 5, 10, 20 years, whenever the time is, or it may be your heirs who have inherited the house after you've passed away. So that's way in the future, we hope. But it's still worth thinking about, but it's not near as high on the priority list. So there's the key. The key is know your situation and estimate how long you're going to be in this house. And based on that, the shorter that time is, the more important it is to find a house that will be easy to sell, readily sellable. So that's the 3 or 4 bedroom. The farther you get out of that, the harder it is to sell. Age appropriate for the neighborhood. So if you're in a neighborhood of 50-year-old houses and you have a 40 or 50-year-old house, you're great. But if you're in a neighborhood of 15-year-old houses and you're buying a 50-year-old house because it's very unique, that's fine, but it's going to make it more difficult to sell. So you want to be close to the medians and norms of the neighborhood you're looking at. And you want that neighborhood to be close to the medians and norms of the city of San Angelo or the region around, San Angelo area, Tom Green County. And that's the important factor to know. And that's where you have to have an agent that will discuss that with you and show you, okay, I'm looking at buying this house. Resale is very important to me because I think we're going to move in the next 3 or 4 years. How long does it take an average house to sell in this neighborhood? And we can pull the stats and come up with that. And know that in certain neighborhoods, a house, they're on the market if they're priced appropriately, less than 60 days. And then there's other neighborhoods that they can be 120 to 180 days, even if they're priced appropriately. So that's information you need to know. It's information that I have access to, so we can talk about that. But that's when, in the discussion with you and I, we've got to figure out what your needs are. You've got to communicate them to me so I can help you, guide you to make the best decision for you and your family. So, as always, any more questions, give me a call, RoyZesch.REALTOR, 325-268-0775. Thank you.